Well, good morning. When I was a new player in Valheim, things were a little confusing. I remember starting off on a rock much like this one, looking at all these strange statues and having a bird talk to me. And, well, there were some things I wish I'd known then that I know now. So we're going to go over a few of them. First thing I wish I'd known: not all places are created equal in this game. Now, this is a beautiful spot, and you would think that you would want to build a base here. Trust me, if you're starting out in the game, you don't want to build a base here. Not only do you have a mountain, but you have black forest surrounding that mountain. So if the gray dwarves and the trolls don't get you, the wolves will. Do not build here. In fact, if you see this area and you are a brand new player, run far in the other direction. You'll save your life. Second thing, little abandoned huts like this, they make pretty good starters. However, you do have to watch out for things like current residents. These guys will poison you, and if you're a new character in the world, you will probably die to the poison. Best to have a bow and arrow so that you can shoot them down. And as a bonus, if you do shoot them down, you will get I can't get it on this side. You will get a queen bee. And with that queen bee and some wood, you will be able to make your own beehive and gather honey. And of course, now this could be converted into a house, which we might do in a minute. But on to the next tip. Sometimes you will find abandoned huts, and not only will they contain beehives, they might contain a chest. And sometimes they hold useful items. In this case, this one has a feather and an amber in it. Sometimes they have arrows. Sometimes they have other little bits and bobs. But it's a good way to find some materials. Also, if you have enough wood on hand, you can build a bench and a hammer, and you can take this apart for extra wood. It's an easy way to get wood if you don't feel like chopping down a whole forest for it. Also, branches are also a good source of wood and quite plentiful in wooded areas. And on the same note of gathering things to survive, if you find an area with a lot of raspberry bushes, mark it off on your map. As you can see, I have a set marked off over here and over here, and each of those locations has quite a number of bushes. You will be using a lot of those as food in early game, and later on in the game, you will also be using them for decorative purposes. And if you see mushrooms, well, it goes double. Go ahead and mark those off too. They are a good source of early game food. And when you set up your first base, set up your beehive. Not only is it also a good source of early game food, but bees tend to be very territorial, shall we say. So when you have little graylings poking around your house, those bees don't take too kindly to it, and they will attack. Now, on to the next tip. All right, next tip, and I admit this one I did not even know until I saw a video by Kyson. These little abandoned campsites with the lean-tos, I always thought they were just fun little things to find, and they do look quite adorable. But if you set up a workbench here and take your hammer to these beams that hold the lean-to up and the one running across the front, well, that's core wood. So that is a very convenient way of getting core wood before you can chop down pine trees. Also, they usually have several stones, and I do highly recommend grabbing stones you find because you will need them for stone tools and cook fires. And, well, you might as well start saving up now because you're eventually going to need them for building. So, it's always better to have more rather than less. And on to the next tip. All right, so we have found an abandoned hut that looks like it's a very good candidate for building on. That's got a stone in the back. Might offer a little protection against railings when they come calling. Now, I would caution you to watch out for this fella here. He's a 2-star boar, and while he will be good hunting, and later on when you're able to tame boar, he would make a fine addition to your pen. Right now, he would definitely kick your butt. Although, at this point, I'm assuming you have already made yourself at least a club, if not a club and a shield, and maybe a little armor if you've already killed a few other piggies. But yeah, the boar can be quite a bother early on. However, as it stands, this would be a fine little building. So, let's get started. First thing we're going to need is a workbench. And we're going to put it just outside on this wall. Now this workbench will need a roof. So we will add one roof piece, maybe a couple roof pieces. And that should be adequate. And we are going to start repairing that. And you would usually have to do that one by one, but I'll admit I have a mod. So, it'd help if I pick the right angle. Or do I have the right one? I do. Now that what was there is fixed, we can get to work adding to it. Now you are going to want space for a bed, a workbench, a couple of chests. All right, that one's not going in. You're also going to want some floor, so we're going to put some floor down. We're going to take out this wall here, and we're going to use a hoe. There. Now, I believe you can make the hoe early on. We are going to now use this spot, and we're going to put campfire here, which requires 5 stone and 2 wood. All right. Now we're going to want to put a couple of low walls around that. There we go. Put in a cross beam. This is not necessary, but it just kind of makes things look tidy. And because rain does put out your fire, you're going to want to put in some sort of roofing. But you also want to make sure there is enough space for your smoke to vent. So we're going to put a roof on either side. And now we're going to see, get rid of that piece there. We're going to put a cross beam here. And we're going to put a taller wall in its place. If I could see to put it in. There we go. Now, we want to take a couple of these and snap those into place. And then we want to go there. Get it there. Okay, she doesn't want to stay up there. We want this one. And actually, I think we want that one right there. So that's this is a 26-degree angle, and the other one is 45. And what you're doing is creating the formation to put the roof on top of. All right, now we want this 26-degree roof. And if you are having trouble seeing, sometimes the best thing to do is get on top of the roof. Now, that will angle the smoke up and away from your base. And just because we can, we're going to put a piece of wood in front. Now, all you have to do is place a cooking station right here. Just like about so. And you will have access to that cooking station from the inside and outside. And actually, I think we don't want that. Okay. As nice as that looks, I don't think we're going to want it. Back. There we go. Now, you have a nice cooked fire. Like I said, you can access it from the inside or the outside. It is protected against the rain. And in fact, you could even put more roof along the side if you wish, make it even more protected. Although I would recommend before you do that, you might want to tuck in a chest or two. So we're going to put a chest there. And we're going to put a chest There. And now you can use those to store some food in. And should be able to access it. Yep, you can. You can access it from the side or the front. And I'm going to move this one actually closer. So now I can put a half wall here. And I don't see any tall half walls, so we're going to have to do a short one. And because I like things nice and tidy, we're also going to put a little framing underneath just to make it look good. This isn't necessary. I just do that because I like it. All right, now we can put in the rest of the roofing. And there, that's that side done. We could do something similar here with the roofing, but we do have our workbench under here, and we do want to access it, so I think we're going to leave this side a little more open. Now, that's starting to look very nice, but we need to finish our roof, and I believe this is a 45-degree, so we're going to want the 45-degree roof piece, which can be a little tricky to get in place. And this is where I could use Gus's help. And, well, here we are joined by Gus, who has finally managed to make it on. He's looking at what I've done so far. Ah, I see something I can fix. Once again, this is a personal choice. There. Just to make it look tidier. These structural details aren't really necessary. And we are going to tidy up the front of this. We can see where we're placing the door. And, well, so we can also get in, now that I've accidentally raised the flooring here. There we go. Oh, he says that he can improve on what I did. Okay. He always can. All right, so while he's doing that, I'm going to go ahead and work on a window here. So we're going to put in that. We have a little window. And over here, we're going to put in a wood gate. We're going to put in the taller door because, well, it just feels better. And over that, we're going to put in another half wall. And I'm going to get rid of that and that because, well, it just doesn't look as good with those in there. Okay, Now we have a door, we have a little window, we have a nice little spot, which actually could use a little half wall here. There we go. Now we are almost completely enclosed. We do still have to deal with this roof here. So I was sitting there fighting this thing the whole time, and all I had to do was put in a cross beam. So you're going to put in your cross beam at the front. Now you have a place to attach your roof. And there it goes. Snaps nice and neatly in place. And now, to finish it off, we take another cross beam, put it over here. There. That is the roof in place. And as you can see, we have a nice little shelter. We have a little fire pit, although I don't know if we can access this one from the inside like we could the other one. We could test that real quick. So let's find a boar to kill. That is 2 boar. We have enough boar meat to test this out. Nope. So it's not going to work from the inside, and I think Gus has disappeared. Okay, so Gus is off, and while this kind of worked, it was smoking itself out. So I am going to take what he did and improve on it just slightly. So we're going to take my idea, but we're also going to take his idea and put them together and see if we can't get something that works. There. We got that. We got that. And put this there. That should work. Let's find out. But first, we're going to sleep so we can actually see what's going on. So it's the next day, as you can see. The fire does still seem to be going. We now have access to it from the inside and outside, so you can stand right here and cook yourself some food. And build another chest while you're at it. We'll put one right here. So now you've got 2 chests right there and another chest here. You could probably stick another chest in here too. Oh, and if you have caught a few boar so far and you felt like using a couple of the skins, I think there is a boar skin. Nope, there's not. There is a deer skin rug, but you need 4 deer for it. And those can be hunted before you have a bow if you're very sneaky about it. Station is too exposed. We might be able to put a crafting bench right there. So let's try. Kind of. Okay, we can fudge it a little bit. Okay, we can still access our fire pit. We still have room to get to the bed. take that one out. Now, okay, so it really wants 4 walls and a roof. And this, we're going to turn into storage space. So, now we have room in here. Not that chest. That chest is a reinforced chest. You wouldn't be able to make that until you're in the swamps. We'll put a chest on this side. We'll come around here. We'll put a chest on this side. I think we can sneak in another one on each side. There we go. So now you've got 4 chests hidden under here. You can access the chest from that little hole there. I think we can do the same thing over here. So we're gonna replace the big wall with a couple of these skinny pieces. And now you can access these chests. So you can come in here and access them that way, or you can access them around the sides. So we have 4 chests here, 2 chests over here by the fire pits, for a total of 6 chests. You have your workbench, you have your bed, you have your cook stove, and voila, we have taken this little abandoned hut and turned it into a very basic, very easy to build starter base. And along the ways, we learned a couple of tricks, and we're going to do one more before we go, hopefully. Now, one thing you want is fine wood. And early on, you cannot chop down a birch tree. However, you find a birch tree like this one here, surrounded by a bunch of beech trees, you can use the beech trees to help you chop that birch. So we're going to get rid of all these little trees out of the way first. Get rid of a couple of these little bushes. And this is not an exact science. You don't have any control over which way a tree falls. See if I can push that. Nope, I can't. All right. And watch out because, well, you can get killed by falling trees, which, as you could tell, I almost did. Because I haven't eaten. So let's eat something before we die. But now we have a bunch of logs here. Now what we're going to do is take one of these logs. And again, this was a tip I saw from Kyson. Although I did know that it was possible to do it, just not quite like this. So we're going to take this log and we're going to start ramming it into this birch tree. And we're going to do that until one of these break. And you want to be careful. Like I said, you can get killed by falling trees. You can also get killed by the log. So you want to do this carefully. All right. Now we have felled this birch. Now we need it to break. Now we're pushing the birch against the stone. And we have knocked down another tree in the process. Okay. I didn't say this was going to be a short process. It is a bit tedious. But you're going to keep doing this. Pushing stuff against the birch log and pushing the birch log against stuff until you have managed to break it. And in the process, you're going to get a bunch of other wood. So, we have managed to break the birch in half, which maybe now I can use it to break the birch is hard. I don't know about beech, if it's soft like pine. It seems that's what the game's suggesting. Huh. Okay. There we go. We've got one down, and we have managed to get 3 fine wood out of it. So, we have one more to go. And this one is being very stubborn. All right. Over here. Wow. We managed to break all sorts of wood that way. Well, it's a good way to save on your axe when you're early in the game. Because until you have some chopping power under you, I can guarantee it's not going to take just 2 hits to break anything. Alright, come on. No, I want you over here. I want you to break before I get you over there. Probably gonna break before I get you over there. Alright, let's roll you over this way. End up breaking one of these trees on top of me. Yeah. Whoa. would not have been good. But now we just made ourselves a bunch of free logs. And there we go. We finally broke the other part of the birch tree, and now we have 5 fine wood. And we can go ahead and chop the rest of that later. Hey, it's halfway done already, so nothing wrong with that. Oh, and these little fellas will come out of the woodwork. Good idea to have some sort of shield and club, but they are fairly easy to block and attack. Okay, so we have a tiny bit of fine wood, and I think it is just enough. Go under furniture. It is just enough. So now you can place 1 chair, and it's best to place it for maximum comfort. So we're going to place it over here by the fire. Now you have a place to sit. And now the comfort in here is 6. And all we have is a workbench, bed, a chair, a cook fire, and about a half a dozen about a half a dozen chests. Oh, and I just noticed that there is a gap there. We can't have that. So I guess these do have to go back in, even though I don't particularly like them. There we go. Okay. Now have a little base. One more thing I would recommend, especially if you have killed a few graylings already, you might want to throw a torch in here. So you've got your standing wood torch. Go ahead and stick it in a corner. That way you have a little light. And as long as you have some resin handy, you'll always be able to keep that lit. And we'll go ahead and put this stuff up. Oh, right. Before we go, I did want to show you the beehives. So we're going to go ahead and go over here under crafting. And you will see, where are they? Right here, beehive. Now, I usually like to put these on top of something, but you can, boring that, set them right on the ground. And put one here. Each one takes 10 wood and a queen bee. And unfortunately, we have managed to gather a couple of queen bees. And I'm not going to put that one there. But like I said, not only will these provide you honey, which is a good food source in itself, if the graylings come along and start harassing the beehives, the bees will defend themselves. So they're kind of, in a way, a good alarm system and a good defense against smaller creatures. There we go. Now we have 2 beehives. And they will be providing us, like I said, a little food and a little protection. And there we go. There's some things I wish I had known when I started playing Valheim. Tell me what you think. And do you have any tips that you learned after playing Valheim for a while? Let us all know down in the comments. Until next time. Bye for now.